Our guest, Robert Spencer, is with us. We had very, very serious technical problems of the nature we've never had before on this program. And it was very interesting, Robert Spencer, that they occurred just as I was introducing you. Just as I was handing the microphone over to you to speak. But welcome to the show. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you. Yes, I was hearing it all, but unfortunately you couldn't hear me.
So you heard that introduction that I made for you. So here's your opportunity to correct whatever I said. I hope I got it basically right. I know that this weekend you were to speak to the Young Americans Foundation, the theme, The Truth About Care, and they have threatened to sue you for defamation for the remarks that you made. The threat came even before you addressed the organization. I trust that you were able to speak.
You hear me?
Sure do. I trust that you were able to speak.
Yes, I did speak on Thursday. It went very well. CARE, we were expecting protesters to show up, but they did not, and I wouldn't be surprised if they attempt some kind of lawsuit, but I'm not really worried about that because everything I said is amply documented, and these kinds of lawsuits are just designed to intimidate and discredit the opponents of CARE. Evidently, they are so insecure in their own positions that they are not able or willing to deal with people on an even playing field in open discussion and debate, but instead, fascist-like, they try to silence their opponents by means of bullying, and I'm not going to give in to it. I am very grateful to Dr. Pipes. I believe you noted Daniel Pipes' legal project in defense of in my defense against CARE, and there are others, I think, who will also be helping in that if it comes to it, and so bring it on.
Yeah, so what is CARE? Is it this benign, benevolent organization that's raising money for social projects, or is that money getting funneled elsewhere?
Well, you know, CARE was recently named an unindicted co-conspirator in a terror charity funding case. The Holy Land Foundation is on, there's a trial now going on alleging that the Holy Land Foundation, which was an Islamic charity operating in the United States up until a few years ago, was funneling money to Hamas, the terrorist group, and that CARE was named as an unindicted co-conspirator in this case for its support for the Holy Land Foundation. This is no surprise since CARE was founded by 3 members of the Islamic Association for Palestine, which has been identified. It's no longer in existence, but it has been identified as having been a Hamas front.
So why is it that CARE seems, and one of our callers pointed out that their membership, according to the Washington Times, has fallen off drastically. How is it that they remain a political force in the United States of America?
They have an awful lot of money. You know, they deny having taken money from outside forces, from other governments, but that's also readily establishable that they have. They've gotten large grants from various Saudi entities, and you know, with money comes clout. All they really need is one guy who can talk on television, and they have that in Ibrahim Hooper. They have several others also, and they don't need members in that regard. Also, as far as the drop-off in membership goes, it is likely that is coming from a desire to keep people from being implicated, as CARE itself it runs into more and more legal difficulty. I think that they're just trying to protect people, but that they do have a significantly greater reach and resonance than the actual membership numbers would imply at this point.
My guest is Robert Spencer. He's the director of the Jihad Watch. Unfortunately, we only have him for a few minutes because of the technical difficulties that beset us at the beginning of the program. And there are a bunch of people in queue wanting to talk to you, so I'm going to go right to the callers. Cassandra in the United Kingdom and our affiliate ASI Online.
Thank you, Gary, and hello, Robert. It's absolutely wonderful to speak to you. I'm an avid reader of Jihad Watch and absolutely applaud you and would happily contribute towards any fund that allows you to continue your work. I watch the news and I watch the what's happening, and there have been several instances where CARE have taken on the government of the United States. To my opinion, it's an attempt to undermine. What do you feel about things like the failure of Congress to incorporate the John Doe Act into the law within the United States, that actually stops people voicing their concerns about the about potential dangers, makes people afraid to speak out? People who, unlike you, have.
Okay, let's try to be brief because there are a lot of people who want to talk, and we only have them for a couple minutes. Go ahead, Robert.
The Peter King, actually, Congressman Peter King in New York, has reintroduced a measure that was approved. It is not quite all that it should be because it still stipulates that passengers are not to be sued if they report for justifiable reasons suspicious behavior. Well, that justifiable reasons, unfortunately, what's justifiable to one person might not be to another. And so that could run us into difficulty in the future. But yeah, this is an obvious attempt by CARE and its allies. The effect of it, whether or not they intend it, let's say, is that people will be afraid to support suspicious behavior, and that therefore jihad terrorists will have a free hand in American airports. Is that really what they want? And if so, we should know it.
My guest is Robert Spencer, the director of Jihad Watch. My next caller is Leah, who is joining us from Texas.
Yeah, I wasn't releasing. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Spencer, I'm down here in Dallas, and we've been following the Al-Awlaki trial, the Holy Land Foundation trial, and most of us kind of know, how it all connects to CARE. But could you maybe answer a question for us? We're noticing that even in our local media, there's an awful lot of silence, and there seems to be almost a media blackout on a national level where this trial of the Holy Land Foundation is concerned. Can you maybe speculate on that, or are we just being paranoid? And I'll take my answer here in a second.
Well, I think there is something to that there's been very little coverage of this kind of thing. And there's a general reluctance on the part of the mainstream media to cover stories that have to do with Islamic terrorism. I mean, have you heard about this case in South Carolina where these two young Muslim men have been apprehended with all sorts of explosives in their car and rocket-making material and bombs and bomb-making material? Has that been all over the news? I've been pretty busy today, and I haven't seen it. But I think that it's all part of a consistent pattern, that these things are downplayed. I think whether it might be probably the most likely reason is that the mainstream media believes their own nonsense about Americans and being kind of hair-trigger racist rednecks, and they're afraid of reprisal attacks. Of course, every time there is an uncovered plot by Islamic terrorists, we read all about how Muslims are afraid of backlash attacks, and yet we never read about any actual backlash attacks. We just only see that there's a great deal made of them in the media.
Robert Spencer is the guest. He's with Jihad Watch, the director. Our next caller is Jackie. She's joining us from Missouri.
Thank you, Gary. I was invited into this room, and I just wanted to understand something. When I came in, I heard that these people are doing this, and they're being funded by these people. Can you get more specific with me and tell me who these people are? I always hear these people, but nobody's ever told me who are these people that are being funded and who are the people that are funding them, so I can get a take on